even though my niece is an industrial mechanic, she wants to learn how to do nails, and she's asked me a really great question.
Suzie, do I really need an apex?
Yes, you do. You need an apex. It's so crucially important. It's a great question. Not a stupid question at all, because a lot of people are not putting an apex in. It's a desired look. Not a very good idea. Because you as an industrial mechanic know that leverage, foundation to anything, is the basis of whatever you're working on. When you're designing cakes, to working with machinery, to working with nails, you have to have the proper foundation. And if you don't have an apex, you don't have the strength the nail needs to do what you're going to do. So the longer the nail is that you build, the higher the apex needs to be.
Oh, that's so
right.
cool.
So I have little short nails on right now. And if we look at them, just take a look. They don't have very high apexes. No. But the longer you go, the more of an apex you need. So you've got a nail here. Let's take a look at it. You can see how the apex is actually missing in this particular nail, right? Now, some people might like this look, and you can do it. But after a while, as it grows out or whatever you're doing, if you make it too long, you take much, much more chance of it breaking.
Okay.
And that's why you do need to build somewhat of an apex in there. This has virtually none. So we just want to get just a little bit. We don't have to go tons because it's not a super long nail. We've got those before pictures. Remember those, and we'll show them back to back. How about we just build the smallest apex that I recommend for this length of nail? How about we do that?
Perfect. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, I got to put on my mask just because I'm pulling off some gel. There's not much thickness to pull off except maybe the free edge, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me get my bulk and sculpt. This bit is called bulk and sculpt, and that is what's going to pull our gel polish off very quickly and pull off any thickness that we don't need. We're going to turn up to between 6 and 10 or 12, depending on how comfortable you are. You don't really need to go much higher than a 12 or a 13 or 14 even. Okay, so this is the nail we're going to work on. So let's just pull off some gel polish here. Okay. And if we look at it, they still have no apex. So now I'm just going to thin out the end a little bit. So when I create the... No, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. We're going to add the apex and then I'll reshape it after. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure there's no lifted area. File that right down. Okay, that looks good. But we do need to prep the natural nail area. So I'm just going to get rid of my bulk and sculpt here. I'm just going to put my arbor band in. And I'm only going to turn this one on to about a 3, 4... because I'm going to be hitting the acrylic as well. So I'm just focusing on the acrylic right now. And I'm going to turn it down to about a 2 or 3 when I go around the cuticle area. And at the same time, I'm pushing back the cuticle area with my arbor band. You can go ahead and push it with a cuticle stick beforehand if you like. But I've learned how to do it with my e-file to save me a whole step, which saves me time. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let me just remove the dust. We get a good look. Yep, that looks good. Now, this is hybrid gel that you were using, correct?
Yes.
When Brianna was learning, she actually started learning on hybrid gel, my easy gel. But because of her profession, I'm going to try to encourage her to go to acrylic. So right now with this procedure, what we're doing here with this demo, I'm going to actually put acrylic on her so she has nice, strong nails for her job. So she doesn't break them. That's a whole other video about trying to design nails that suits the clients and their jobs. the stresses that we put them to every day. Okay, so let's just put the apex on there. We'll just get that on there real quick. This is just a hydrator. Get that nail nice and clean and dehydrated. And then once it's kind of evaporated a little bit, I'll now dab on the bonder, the primer. I call mine Let's Bond. And you don't have to get it on the other part of the nail, the fake nail part. Just make sure that you get it on the natural nail. That's the most important. But if it goes on top of the other part, it doesn't matter. I've heard some people say, oh, not allowed to get it on the product. That's not true. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Okay, so now we're just going to quickly fill the cuticle and we're going to put the apex in as well. Now the apex does begin at the cuticle.
I didn't know that.
Because we're learning here. I'm not going to slam it all in one bead because that might be too much at once. So let's just do the apex bead and then we'll do the cuticle bead.
Okay, perfect.
We'll do the apex bead right now. We don't need a huge one, she said. We just need one. It might be a big enough bead to just do it all. So when I say it starts at the cuticle, you want to start building your apex right at the cuticle. That's what we want. You didn't need much because it's not super long.
That's true.
The longer it is, the higher the apex needs to be. Okay, so I'm going to just double check my work. Take a look at it sideways. It looks pretty good. Actually, that's pretty good because this is still kind of thick on the end, so I'm going to let that go and I'm going to blend it in when I file it. It's all part of the sculpting. I'm just going to double check this little side here, and I think I could use just a tiny, 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 tiny bead. Place it right there just to reinforce that side, because if it's going to break, that's where it's going to break. That's a real stress point. So I'm just going to squish that little bead right in there. There, that went in there quite nicely. Now that I'm thinking, check this spot. It looks pretty good. We're pretty safe on that side. Okay, that's good. So the apex started right from here and we go up and then we start sloping down. Okay, we'll see it in the final pictures too. Okay, let me get rid of all this stuff and then we'll sculpt it right out. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on to about a 4 or 5. And now I'm just going to go back and forth. This is the best way for me for filing. I mean, I don't want to get into too many filing tips because that's not what this is about, but back and forth, back and forth. Whatever high point you have, the file will cut it off. And whatever low point, it'll finally meet when it's even. That's what makes an even nail. Go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now the goal was the apex, right? I've left a nice smooth apex there. Nothing too high and not too low. It's going to be just right.
Oh, it looks great already.
Isn't that nice? So then I'm going to take the medium file and I'm going to give you that nice round shape that you kind of, I know you're going for almond, but you ended up with actually round.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, which is nothing wrong. They're close. They're close shapes. So we're just going to round it up. Then I'm going to go back and forth. Okay, I've got the nice shape. Now I'm going to go back and forth the whole thing. This is just a little trick I always do. I finish up every nail with an arbor band finish. So I'm just going to finish it up with an arbor band finish. Just go back and forth on the whole nail for a very nice smooth effect. Beauty. Okay. Then I'm going to go over the whole nail with my sanding sponge and prepare it for gel. That's pretty good. So one little extra step, you don't have to do this. I like to do it, especially since I've been on YouTube and I have close photos. I will clean up the cuticles, especially for gel. So if your client's having a wedding, for example, or a photo shoot of a ring or something, you can do this extra step, or if they're just picky. Just go around the cuticle with my trimmer bit very gently and just remove anything that you might have missed. There's not much here, but I've done it, so I feel better. Okay. And you just finish up with the sanding sponge. And now we'll gel polish, and then we can take a look at the before and after photos so we can really see the difference of what apex makes. Okay, so we'll always finish with a little bit of, oh, that's a lot of it. Always finish with some oil and massage it into the finger. Okay, so does that make sense to you? Like structurally, you can really see that?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It looks way better, and it's definitely going to hold up at work for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, it really will. And so the longer you go, don't forget that. The longer we go, like those super long nails,
Yeah.
having those super long nails flat is
not gonna
just
work.
a disaster waiting. It's like building a bridge without having some braces on the underneath side of your bridge. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Okay, thank you, Bree.
Thank you, Suzie. I love them.
That looks really good. And we're learning so much together.
Yes, we are.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Catch you in the next video.